an actress. Because to be a good comedian, remember we had that discussion last night.
I think you straightened it out last night,
Yes.
finally, once and for all.
If you're a good actress, you're a good... No, if you're a good comedian, you can also be a good actress. It's not really important.
It is, if you're a good comedian.
That's right, and she is.
And a good actress.
Yes, both. She'll be performing at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion on December the 18th, which is when?
December the 18th is a week from Thursday.
Is that true?
Yes. Week from next Thursday. 2 weeks from next Thursday.
You were close.
I was close.
There's no...
No, I missed a week. You do that often.
Send me a writer, quick. Well,
You have a saver left over from Garnett?
Never mind that. December the 18th, which is 2 weeks from this Thursday, and she has a very funny album out, which I have right here in my left hand.
Yes.
And it's called Modern Scream, which I think is a takeoff on a lot of the fan magazines and some of the stuff you read in them there magazines. Would you welcome Miss Lily Tomlin? You know, sometime I'm a little reluctant because we don't know each other well. I think you're a great professional. I think you're very, very funny. But sometimes when I go to do that obligatory...
Introduction?
No, kissing.
Oh, kissing.
When you meet somebody, I never know for sure there's somebody...
I was awkward myself.
You looked a little hesitant, like, you know...
I felt it was presumptuous, you know.
The same way.
I felt the same. I felt funny, too. That's...
Did
I know,
you?
when I kiss you, I get to sit down.
Oh.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do, of course, because it seems like ritual.
You go to a party, you don't know the people, and all of a sudden they come up and they're kissing you on the mouth or the cheek.
I try to avoid kissing people on the mouth.
Yeah, well, more germs can be transmitted
that
way.
Yes, it's true, you know, and it's not impossible. Plus, you might get soot particles.
Oh.
That are floating about in the air that cling to a moist surface.
You're going to take all the fun out of kissing from now on. All I'm going to think is soot on a moist surface.
Some people's soot you don't... I mean, some people's soot you're indiscriminate about, but I only feel... I mean, in a sense, it's sort of...
like my
out
soot,
of respect
like me.
for you as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess we cleared that up not too well. You know what I was trying to say in the introduction? I don't know whether you heard it or not. I think if somebody is a good comedian, they by nature are usually a good actress. It doesn't always work the other way around. A good actress cannot be sometimes funny in a comedy situation. Does that make sense? Wouldn't you like sometime to play, and you've played serious things, very deep, heavy role?
Yes.
Like Ophelia in Hamlet?
I would like to try it.
Yeah. See, I'd like to play Hamlet.
Would you?
Yes.
We could do it together.
Some night, let's
Why don't you do just a little of Yorick? Just, alas, come on, just a little bit.
I don't know that particular soliloquy.
Oh, you know.
Alas, poor York, I knew him well, Horatio.
That's right.
Here hung those lips I have kissed. No, he's looking at the skull, you say, and he says, here hung those lips I have kissed. I not how often or something, but how abhorrent the thought. Now, I don't know that one.
Well, give us one you know.
There was an old hermit named Dave.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Which I think is from Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm not sure I lose that. Some night, for the fun of it, would you like it? And I'll bet you we could get through it without laughing.
We could.
If we... Without...
No, we could.
No, but you see, do you always get the feeling when you try to do something serious that the audience is going to laugh regardless because they are conditioned from the fact that if you're known as a funny person, that they're a little reluctant to accept something quite serious from you?
Well, you know, I don't feel that way.
Oh.
I mean, perhaps some people in the audience might hold that view themselves,
Right.
but I guess it never really affected me, or I never really was influenced by it.
Yeah. It would make me awkward. I would feel awkward going into a movie with it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just insecurity. Because I would get the feeling that people are not taking me serious when you're trying to be serious.
Well, I don't know what else to say.
Oh, I guess that's my
I just always thought, I just felt I was an actor, and even if I was acting something funny or if I was acting something not as funny, it's really sort of a matter of style. But as I say, I'm not sure that everyone in the audience feels that always.
Some night we'll do a little from Hamlet or something, or Romeo and Juliet.
All right.
I think we would be a smash. Anyway, the album, which I assume Modern Scream has to do with A little parody, satire on the fan magazines?
And on me.
Yeah. You read the Follow the Fan magazines? There are tons of them that
Well,
come
I'll
out,
tell you,
mostly from
I do
Hollywood.
read them. I read a lot of them when I was doing this because inside I did a pulp spread, you know, of the magazine.
I love it.
Oh,
And I really took all these blurbs from actual.
You've got my favorite. They always
Do I?
have the bus developer ads in the backs of
Yes.
the fan magazines.
Yes, they do.
And poems set to music.
And like for instance, all these blurbs are from actual articles. Should I name who they're from?
Yeah, the sin she has to pay for. For the
That's-
first time in my life, I knew what it's like to be alive. Now, that was a thing actually written.
Well, this was written about two different people.
Now, the
I
sin
just
she has
combined
to
them.
pay for. What was that about?
That was Jackie Kennedy. And I don't know what the sins were because you never really find out. You read the article and it doesn't quite tell you. This says, this interview will shock some, excite others, but no one will be able to forget. That was Bianca Jagger.
Oh, I forgot that one. See, so they're wrong
This
right
one
off.
is, there is no doubt, this one is, there is no doubt in the minds of those people who travel in her orbit. You understand, I replaced my name
Right.
with the other person's name. I mean, my name for the other
That
person's
Lily
name.
Tomlin has won her personal struggle against the dark forces within. Now, who was the article about?
That was Barbara Streisand. And I don't know what the dark forces were.
Yeah, those things are always so nebulous that you read the article and after you finish, you still don't know what it is. I read once, years ago, we did a thing on that called How Far Should Petting Go? And it was by Lassie, as told to... As told to Pete Martin. It was a host.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Here's what I love. Wait, I just want these wig ads are what I like because it says looks like hair growing out of wig. I mean,
That you wouldn't really want, would you? Look like
no,
the hair
not too
growing out of the
much,
wig.
No.
Yeah. Have you ever been interviewed by these
No,
magazines?
I did. I was once by a very nice person a long time ago, but not since then. I haven't.
Yeah.
I had just been on Laugh-In at that time, and I wasn't particularly famous. I mean, I was just on Laugh-In, you know.
You didn't have the...
I mean, and everybody was rather enamored of Ernestine, so
Yeah.
I had a very nice interview with a woman named Bernice Mason. But that's the only time I ever had one.
It was a strange place you had that interview? Somebody telling me, is that something you do on the album?
Oh, no, well, I do. I created an interviewer for the
Mrs.
album.
Beasley. This is
Oh,
all.
Mrs. Beasley. Oh, that's just a character of mine. She's
Right.
on the album. And I've been doing her on my specials. She does testimonials. For the first one I ever did with her was the one where she's doing a soap testimonial, and as she's going through her laundry, she discovers lipstick on her husband's collar. And so what we created for her was she was just the kind of person doing testimonials, and something bad would always happen to her, but she would continue anyway. In my last special, she did a commercial going through a car wash for a hair, for a hairspray, and her hair was real perfect.
That's fine. You get, I think we talked about that before. You go back to your often childhood or current life to find characters. All of these come out of real situations, do they not? Most good characters, or they're a combination of...
Well, the thing about, I did this on one of my specials, actually. I did a whole thing about things that my mother told me that turned out not to be true. And among them were things like, the people in Washington know what's right or they wouldn't be there. Or things like only tramps get their ears pierced. That kind of thing. And so then I
Always wear clean underwear.
Well,
Because you
yes.
never know when you'll
Well,
be
that
hit by a
is
truck,
true.
right? And taken to the hospital. Mostly they say that to girls. My mother said it to me, which I never understood at all. Oh, do we have to leave for a moment, do we?
Yes.
All right, Fred is sitting on the edge of his chair, which means we have to leave for a second. We were coming right back. Stay with us. We are back, finally. Yes. And we're talking with Lily Tomlin. We have David Jansen, Natalie Cole, and Irwin Shaw, who wrote Night Works. What were we talking? We mentioned, I'm sorry, I have to owe you an apology. After we went through the whole date of your concert at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion.
yes.
It is not December the 18th. It is December the 19th.
Oh,
So after, well, Ed kept saying 2 weeks or a week from
1
this
week.
Thursday.
I said a week from next Thursday.
Well, I'll
It's
just,
2
I'll
weeks from
just
Friday.
show up down there anyway.
If show up the
We'll all be
18th
there
and
the
if people
18th,
show
and we'll
up,
wait.
do 2 shows.
I'll be outside on the sidewalk.
Right.
So December the 19th. How long, do you like to do the live concerts where you have the freedom and you're not restricted? Not from the material you do
I
on
like them
television.
quite a lot, yes, but lately I've been using video in my concert and using a big 11 by 14 foot rear projection screen, which is a lot to say.
Yeah.
But I've liked that a lot because you get to film, I film the audience when they're coming in, so
Right.
they see themselves on the screen and they act real foolish.
Why is that when people, grown
I mean,
people...
I'm foolish. I meant that positively.
But I know what you mean. But
'Cause I
grown
think-
people still do that if you turn a movie camera on an adult. Kids, you expect it. But turn it on a grown-up person, you know, and they go... and you become a simpering idiot. Did you ever notice that?
Well, I've seen them do it. I always like it.
You like to get in front of the
I
camera.
like people to act foolish.
Did you always like to perform as a kid? Were you the ones in the school play that got up when they said, who's going to be in the school play? You volunteered?
No, I was usually absent quite a bit.
Why's that?
Well, I just, if my hair wasn't looking right, I didn't want to go to school. In fact,
reason.
I felt a little guilty just then because I could have said a line that I've used, and the line is, I would stay out of school 12, 13 days if my hair didn't turn out right. And I would, literally. I just wouldn't go to school. You know, you just get up and your hair just, especially in the 50s, your hair had to come out extremely attractively.
Yeah.
Hair was really important.
Did you, what were those, that was the big fad when you were going to school?
Hair?
Hair?
Yeah. Oh, good, but neat hair, you know? I mean, hair had to be just so. Don't you remember people hold their necks real stiff? So their hair wouldn't drag on their collar. If their hair would drag here and they would get out of place.
And the guys had the pomade and everything had to be laid back.
Hair had
and-
to be really just so.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the way you could criticize someone the most.
Put down their hair.
You could say your hair looks pukey. Or something.
It's a good put down,
equally
not
as
too
tasteful.
esoteric, but it's a good put down. Who's the one I was looking at this one over here? You said this is a new character you've been doing on specials.
Oh,
Sister Boogie Woman.
Oh, Sister Boogie Woman, yeah. She's kind of like an evangelist for old people. And I'll try to do her sitting down, but she's kind of, we'd have to kind of get into her. Well, I have to stand up for
Kind
a
of an
minute,
elderly
maybe.
Catherine Kuhlman, you mean, for old people?
Well, kind of, except she's sort I'm sorry, write that down. She kind of, she preaches cheap thrills for old people. And she might say something like this. She'd say,
Boogies, when you're 77 years old, you got a pack on your back, your teeth in a jar, and those teeth are smiling.
she's just real upbeat, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, she's just real great because she just preaches what she does. Like, in fact, I'm just remembering something. She says, like, she reads a letter. She says, see, it's hard for me to do something out of context, but I'll try. Let's see, she'll say,
Now, tonight's letter, picked at random, says, Dear sister, I'm writing to you from a nursing home about 10 miles outside Bull's Gap. I will not mention the woman's name in case the nursing home authorities are spying on us. She continues, my problem's twofold. Remember, I'm the one wrote you complaining about them always serving Jell-O here. You told me to start a riot, but I can't. Seems most everyone here likes Jell-O. My second problem's more serious. I'm in love with a gentleman who lives down the hall. This time, sister, it is a real thing. We want very much to get it on, but we can't. Because they won't let us close the door around here. Can you throw any light on the subject, a loyal listener, dear listener? I believe that Jell-O's gone to your brain. Well, the answer is so simple. Do it with the door open.
Yeah, once you get into the rhythm, you've got to go to.
yeah, it's hard to stop her because she really goes nuts. I mean, she starts preaching and she goes over, you know, I mean, she's really filled up with life.
Does your folks watch you when you perform? Do they come to see you? What kind of reaction do you get? I get strange reactions sometimes.
Oh,
because
me too.
Once in a while, I pull out names, or you take the truth when you were growing up and you maybe exaggerate it to get the comedy effect. And very often people take offense. They don't really understand the business you're in. And they take it personal.
Yes.
Get that occasionally?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, the last time I was on here, I mean, it's funny that you should mention it because I had talked about when I'd played. My mother lives in Kentucky, and all my relatives had come over to see me in Missouri because I was playing a college there, and they were just really, I'm sure, sort of in a state of shock from my performance.
They didn't quite understand what you were doing.
Well, no, it's mostly that you're not supposed to mention body parts.
Yeah, I suppose,
It's not overly acceptable in this culture.
specifically, the organ of your choice or something like that. I mean,
Well, no, I mean, it's never anything gratuitous, just
Yes.
sort of, you know, if I was talking about something, I mean, it's only really just realistic, truthful language, and,
Certainly.
and perhaps I had to do it to illustrate something. And I can assure you it was always done in a tasteful way.
yes.
But nonetheless, those words resound in the air.
Yeah.
Because I remember on one of my specials a couple of years ago, I said the word breasts. Because I did it, breasts, yes, the word breasts. And my mother said, oh, did you have to say that on television? And I said, yes.
Yes, sir. You had a very...
It was said in a very intelligent context, you understand. It was not meant for a cheap laugh the way you've responded.
We have a rather cheap audience. We get one we can get at this time of night. Did you have a conservative upbringing? Would you call it conservative?
Oh, no, I had a great upbringing because my mother and father both Southern. My father went to Detroit to work in the factories, and so they went up, and there's just something great about not having a middle-class upbringing. All my mother and daddy ever wanted was that my brother and I shouldn't get into trouble. And I suppose that meant that my brother shouldn't get arrested and I shouldn't get pregnant.
Did either of those things happen?
No, neither has happened.
See, that's wonderful.
See how well they brought us up?
Yes, they did. Were your folks funny? When I say
Oh, my
funny...
brother did get arrested once, but it was an accident. And he stood all night in jail. He refused to sit down. I'm sorry. I just
Sounds
thought
like the
of
old
that.
joke going to the electric chair. Don't sit down. What was your brother arrested for now that the subject is
He
open?
was, to be quite truthful, it won't make a good story for television.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But he was traveling in Detroit. He was riding in a black neighborhood with a black friend who was a woman. And because he was a rather youngish white fellow, they
That's
stopped
set
them.
off a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they not only took my brother to the jail, but they put his friend out on the street. I mean, they just set her out on the street and locked up the car and so on.
Oh.
Which is a comment on something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Didn't know. Well, I did what I was getting into there.
Well, I had to tell the story. Oh, it's
That's right.
nothing. It's just merely a matter that happened.
Yeah.
Nothing more
What's the
than
worst
that.
trouble you've ever been in? You ever
The
run
worst
away from
trouble
home?
I've
Yeah,
been
did you ever
in?
run away from home?
No, but I had friends who did, and I ratted on them. That was the worst trouble I was ever in.
A think at that age. Didn't you ever think of running away from home?
No, I always thought I could probably provoke my mother and father to leave.
I always got as far as collecting your belongings, a canteen.
Writing the
You
note.
know, the writing the note I'm leaving. But my
Oh,
folks were
no.
my folks were shrewd. They said, have a nice trip and be careful. Now you've got no, you know, you got to have a little way out somewhere. You get yourself in the corner.
I had no shame. I was never humiliated by being a fool.
Yeah.
I would threaten to leave or threaten to do anything, and then I'd show right up for supper.
Oh.
It didn't matter.
I carried my bluff through.
No, I had no dignity whatsoever.
Oh, they had a
I
map
guess.
out. They had luggage. They had character. Let me do this. We'll come right back. We have a short break here. Stay where you are.